whenever I'm sending the data from DA to D50, that time this bus identity symbol will be equal to.
This one is still coming. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. It's clearly visible now.
Very clearly visible. I am worried. Okay. So I'll go to the day 2. Good morning to you all. Enjoy the day. Enjoy everything that you are doing today. And hopefully I'll give you some inputs which you can use it for your life actually, not necessarily immediately. Okay. Today's topic has been given advanced research area in building industrial Internet of Intelligent Things. Lot of adjectives, lot of adjectives. One is advanced, okay. Second is industrial. Third is intelligent. Okay. Hopefully we will cover some of them, and I don't want to say cover. It's a bad word in BITS Pilani. I will uncover some of the aspects, and you end up covering it whenever you find time on that. Okay. So automation engineering. That's actually. So whenever we talk about research topics, okay, please understand, I have not given a list of research topics that you can take. What I am going to do is actually, when I am presenting a specific context, I am going to indicate this is the research topics which is going on, okay, and you can choose one of them, okay. So all of you, if you are interested in the research areas, as you are interested in attending this particular session, please have a paper and a pencil, or a notebook and a pen, whatever you like actually. Don't use the, what is that called, cell phone or anything. Write it in a paper and a pen, and you will really enjoy it, okay. So automation engineering. The automation engineering basically consists of measure, analyze, control. I am not going to delve very detailed this particular automation engineering, because in most of the session I cover this. I want to show some of the aspects and what all you can do in terms of actually research, or I am really worried about the research. Okay, development, I can call that actually. Research, we are not going to do any fundamental research. So we are going to talk about how do we improve. See, whenever you talk about, say for a microprocessor, I'm just talking about a microprocessor. What is the two things which is very important? One is actually the power. Second one is actually the speed of performance. Okay. What is so unique about these two are, if you want to save power, your speed will come down. If you want to improve your speed, power will go up. Okay. I'm talking about power consumption or energy utilized. That's actually weight which it is 10. So the first topic is microprocessor, or what we call actually the processing element. I don't want to call microprocessor because everybody will relate it to 8086 or 8085. I don't want you to relate to that. I'm talking about the processing element. The processing element, according to me, consists of only three things. One is actually the basic processing area. Second one is a timer. Third one is the memory. These three I am considering it as a processing element. There are a lot of interfaces. If you really look at it today, the ARM, Advanced Risk Machines people, they are producing soft kernels, what we call IP. Okay, people like Intel or Freescale or actually Infineon or actually NXP, etc., buy that soft core and use that soft core in building their own applications or their own processor, their own controllers, their own system on chip also. Okay, so that is what is happening now. The whole issue is that is actually the hardware is actually fabricated or hardware is produced as a software. That itself is a great thing, So if you really go to the ARM processor, it is not actually processor which is coming from ARM. It is the processor core in software is coming to you, and you as an industry, as I told you, Intel or Freescale or anything, actually take that particular thing, add whatever you want to do, and then do it. Okay, that includes actually many of the people who are in the communication field also. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that. So this is my automation. Actually, this is a slide which I will show in every session, in every this one, because this particular slide is created by me, and there was no copy in this. Okay, there is no IP problem in this. So what is the basic thing? The basic thing is very simple. You have a plant, you have a process. You need to maintain the process variables to certain disciplined number. Say for instance, you have a room. In that room, you would like to maintain the temperature between 25 to 30 or 30 to 32, like that. If you go to the poultry farm and all, they control the temperature within 0.5 or 0.6 degrees Celsius. Okay, because otherwise the production or the productivity of the birds are not supposed to be good. That means what? Everywhere in the plant, there is a process variable, or there are many process variables, and it is the responsibility of the automation engineer to identify those process variables, build certain circuitry or build certain complex circuitry to keep that particular process variable under a spread. That is actually 0.5 degrees plus minus, 0.3 degrees plus minus, like that you can say. Okay, so this is actually what we talk. So what you should know about the plant, you should know about the process variables, and these two are the first two things. So this is not the responsibility of a communication engineer or an electronics engineer per se. It is the responsibility of the people who build the plant. That can be an IC engine by a mechanical engineer, or it can be a power generating equipment by an electrical engineer, or it can be a cement concrete actually by a civil engineer, or it can be a chemical like a pressure cooker by a chemical engineer, or it can be what we call actually a telephone exchange by an electronic engineer or communication engineer. Okay, this is actually the plan. And what they should know is actually, they should know that this is actually the process variable, and this is actually the plant which I have created. And he will also tell this process variable will vary, and this is the spread of the variation, and this is the type of transducer we should use it. Sensor, transducer, I am using interchangeably. Really speaking, sensor is different from transducer. You take any book or any Google actually, they will tell you the difference between a sensor and a transducer. I will say temperature sensor, I will say acoustic transducer. Okay, this is actually how we do that. Okay, that's so whenever we talk about the process and the plant, so immediately people can ask, hey, where are all the various process plants? I can look at it. Actually, I have written here, or I have brought out here certain what is known as actually the plant and the process. Telecommunication system, automotive, aerospace, defense, healthcare. Well, see, even a human being is a plant. Okay, healthcare, because our process variable like a temperature, pressure, blood pressure, or actually the virus infection, everything can change. Okay, our body parameters. So it's actually if you really go to the intensive care unit, actually that fellow really collects your body parameters and the thing. And if you're going to use a telemedicine, because I'm talking to a electronics and communication group of people, so I have to talk about telemedicine. The telemedicine will take that particular data or parameter to a distant place where a senior doctor will diagnose and send a treatment to that particular place so that the patient can be cured without coming to the hospital. Okay, so These are all happening. So up to this is the responsibility of the people who are one of these. Okay, one of these. Then sensor transducer is there. So now sensors or transducers usually give physical variable in that is actually the kilometer per hour, or actually the so many milligram, so many what we call weight in kilogram or pounds or anything you like actually, or distance is actually in centimeters. But it is a responsibility of the electronic engineer to convert that particular convert that particular physical variable into an electrical variable, and this electrical variable to be going to the signal conditioner. Okay, the first. What is the difference? And these are all some of the topics which you can look at it as a research area. Please understand, the research area need not be only the high-flying number crunching or actually artificial intelligence or neural networks. It can be as small as possible, and it can, what is the basic thing? It has to make an impact to the society, impact on the society. So we always people think that I want to do a PhD in neural networks. Oh, he doesn't know networks. He doesn't know what is neural, how the body neural science is working, and he wants to do a neural network. It should not be a fashion that I have produced a neural network, artificial intelligence. It should be, of course, relevant to the time, and positively, it need not be something which you don't know anything. Okay, so you have to be very careful in choosing a topic. So signal conditioner, this is basically a complete electronic circuit 1, circuit 2 with the sensor, and this is what we are teaching. Okay, and if you really look at it, actually, this is one of the questions I ask all the people who are coming to me for a job. What is the difference between an amplifier and a signal conditioner? Okay, and that is a question. Okay, now how a differential amplifier, when it is connected in a differential mode and reduces noise, at the same time what we call actually increases the amplitude. That means CMRR. Okay, CMRR. So now you go back. Okay, this is what is a problem with majority. There are about 25 amplifier configuration. I am only looking at Boylston and National Scheme book, and in that there are 25 amplifier configurations. In our college, we teach only 1 or 2, that also with a lot of options and selections, okay, electives. Okay, so that is not good actually. All the amplifier the person should know, because of the simple reason he doesn't know which industry is going to work, and he doesn't know what type of problem he is going to face. He doesn't know what type of sensor he is going to have. So his amplifier configuration. So now such topic, go to all the amplifiers, whether it is low noise amplifier at the antenna end, or the audio amplifier, video amplifier, or actually a simple instrumentation amplifier, etc. You bring all these things in one place and try to find out what is the unique specification of an amplifier. Okay, unique specification of an amplifier. Now, how do you mix and match various configuration to achieve the intended objective? Second. Third one is actually, how do you really do all in a shortest package as possible? So don't say that actually I will use a cascade amplifier, I will use a cascade amplifier, I will use a thing. And now what is the next thing which you have to look at it is actually, whenever you do an amplifier, the normal thing is actually it will oscillate. It will oscillate. Okay, this amplifier oscillation is very, very small thing. All of you would have done a Nyquist plot. Go and ask all the students to do a Nyquist plot and Bode plot, and try to find out the gain margin and phase margin. Okay, and try to find out gain margin, gate margin. Now this is a research topic. Now for an application, how do you identify the right amplifier configuration and try to install that in as small as, yesterday we talked about affordable, authoritative, authentic, and actually convenient or easy, low, all those things we talked about, 4 P's, 4 A's we talked about, and you try to tell them how to do it. Now this can be an excellent research package, and this is what the biomedical engineers are supposed to do, because of the simple reason that they are dealing with human beings, one, or some plants, or some what we call animals. So they are supposed to do this particular thing. And what are all the conditions? Whenever you do these type of things, you have to understand what is the difference between a functional and non-functional specification of an amplifier. Okay, that is another thing. So now you may be thinking that amplifier is a very small thing. Half an hour I will complete the amplifier. You cannot do it. Even the whole semester is not enough. So what is the best thing? How do I teach, sir? Use LabVIEW. Use LabVIEW. Okay. So now you give a overall project to your student. Okay. Project to your student. You have to make a face maker. Okay. And you have to only look at the amplifier portion of it. Okay. And you say, what are all the various things? Now you say this has to be fitted inside the body. You have to say this should not affect the body parameters, and it should take the lead in such a way that it doesn't have high voltage shock. And actually all those things you should say, these are all non-functional requirements, and the people should be able to design that. And what is missing in our curriculum is this concept, what I told. So if you are talking about the advanced research topic, this is a beautiful topic. And you don't have to go and unnecessarily study neural network, artificial intelligence, etc. Whatever you have studied, you are trying to package it in another form and deliver it. There was a person, a doctorate in Indian Space Research Organization. You know what was his topic of research? He was a doctorate from Russia, I think. Okay, Russia, VP Kulkarni. That's the name of the person. He has done a bistable multivibrator. That's all. That's his research topic. And you will be really surprised. He was honored by Russian government, saying that this is one of the best topics for research, because he has brought out a configuration which was not thought of before his research. So there are many people who say, amplifier, sir, and even some of your VTU examiners will say, oh, you have done the amplifier only, as though he knows everything. Ask him 3 questions in amplifier, he will not be able to answer. You should be a master in this. Why we are doing research? PhD is not a degree after 3 years of studies. No, it is actually a research, research. And you should try to get the depth of that particular topic and then get into the actual thing. Once you have a doctorate, once you have a doctorate, nobody bothers about in which area you did doctorate. You will get principal's post, you will get head of the department post, and you can go even postdoctoral research in some abroad university. Today, people with this single conditioner amplifiers have got a very great demand in France and Germany. You will be really surprised, because new sensors are coming and they don't know how to configure the single conditioner. New sensors are coming. Nano, NEMS, MEMS. There are so many sensors are coming, and they don't know how to build integrated amplifier to take care of that particular thing. They should reduce the noise and they should amplify. And of course, other things are there. Okay. So this is actually the first thing. Now, after going to the single conditioner, now I have got the electrical voltage, electrical parameter, electrical variable. Now I have taken that particular suitable level depending upon that particular requirement. Now I have to process this information. Basically, data from the parameters from the plant or the body is only in physical variable. So the electronic engineers are converting that into electrical variable and taking it into a processing section. Okay, there is as I told you, this is my processing element: CPU, timer, and memory. Whenever I say CPU, it doesn't include the serial port, it doesn't include, it only includes the CPU, central processing unit. That's all. It is not actually a microprocessor. It is central processing unit. That's all. Okay. So it can be a RISC-based architecture, it can be a CISC-based architecture, it can be a VLIW architecture, it can be superscalar architecture. That's all left to you. Okay, so I am not going to say that actually you use RISC. No. You use RISC. If it has become too risky for the people about that 4 A's, then you change it. What is the problem in that? Okay, it's all there. Okay. Now, after this one, you have to connect this signal output. This is what it is. This output of the signal conditioner goes to the real world interface. The real world interface is in your microprocessor kit, actually 8255, and you have certain things, actually the A to D converter, etc. And then you bring it inside. Sorry, you have an A to D converter, you have a bringing inside a 8255, and then connect it to the processor through the processor bus. That's actually what is the thing. So if you have really great idea about that, so you go ahead with that. That's actually, those are all in the real world interface. Now, after doing the real world interface, what is that basic thing? What you have done? You have taken the signal condition output, put it onto the memory, and the through the serial interface. Now it is in the memory, and the memory sorry. Now I'll go to the next. Sorry. I have communication interface. I have user and debug interface. This is keyboard, etc. This is actually serial IRE. What we call, we have various things, LED interface. We have actually the USART, actually. You have actually optical port. You have even actually USB, etc., etc. Wireless also is there. Now, the signal, at that particular instant of time, I have got the memory. I have got into the memory my parameters, and I have this one. Now, what is the next thing? I have to think. I have to program this processor. So, what is the programming I have to do? What is the basic thing the CPU has to do? Acquire the particular signal, analyze the particular signal, and through the real world interface, apply to back to the plant so that it controls the parameter. Or you can communicate, make it a centralized communication, etc. And then you can write it in assembly, C, C++, LabVIEW, Python, whatever language or you are familiar, write it here. Okay, that's all you have to do. Now, once you have this particular thing, you have an automatic control. That's actually. Now, what is the basic thing? You have, this is all we cover. You go back and look at this particular slide, and then you relate it to the subjects that you teach. You cover only that, except the physics, chemistry, and a similar subject, which are basically the physical and physical laws and principles, etc., mathematical laws and principles. This is actually your 8th semester subject of any engineering discipline. This is how it is created. Okay. And once you have done it, actually, you don't have to bother about anything. Now, this is automation. Automation is collecting or acquiring this particular process variable into a processor, and you do an analysis of this. Either you communicate to your user, or you send it to the real world interface to this particular plant or a chemical, so that it is brought back. So again, I connect it. I will keep on doing this once again, and I will ensure that the process variable is always maintained at that particular instant. Now, there is one more thing which is supposed to be there. I have the external thing. Why not I put it inside? Okay, that is another topic which is actually in prevalence. Okay, now take this particular thing, all these things, particular things, put it inside the plant. That becomes an embedded system. Embedded system is an electronic controller. These are all the things built into the application, continuously monitoring the process variables and ensure that the process variable do not deviate. This is actually the one. This embedded system, what we call distributed control, everything is in this actually. Okay, supervisory control and data acquisition, it is there. Today, if you really go to Hyderabad, there are many people working on SCADA for electricity, SCADA for railways, SCADA for plant automation, SCADA for anything. So what is SCADA? Supervisory control and data acquisition system. And you have also distributed control system. Okay, so you have everything. Ultimately, when I am going to talk about industrial Internet of Intelligent Things, this is the intelligent things, I say. This is the intelligent thing. So put it in your door, door becomes intelligent. Put it on your cupboard, cupboard becomes intelligent. That is how it is actually. So whenever we talk about, now we will go to the research topic in this. First and the foremost, what is the latency? How do I reduce the latency? What is latency? From the time the process variable deviates to the time the process variable is addressed and probably quenched, that is actually the latency. And now what is our interest? As soon as the temperature goes up, we want that to come down to the normal level, what we have said. That's all we want. As soon as a beautiful English word. Okay, beautiful English word. But in electronics or in engineering, you have to say, what is as soon as? Is it 1 hour? Is it one day? Or is it 1 minute? Or is it 1 second? Or it is 1 picosecond? We don't know. Okay, so that if you give, that becomes a real-time embedded system. That means if you are going to give a logical correctness, a deterministic timeline, that becomes a real-time embedded system. Now, as far as the research topic is concerned, you try to find out the latency is not in one place. The parameter that you are going to measure is moving through this particular chain we call signal chain or analog front end. We can call it any name you like actually, analog mixed signal. There are so many ways that is given. So this is actually coming. So it is your responsibility to find out where are all the latency is getting delayed and the time propagation is getting delayed and how do I reduce it? Okay. Now, if you take this, now another thing, now I extend the same thing to communication. Now you take actually 3G, 4G, 5G, all those things are coming, 5G, they are talking about a latency not more than 1 second, I think. Okay, 1 second, I think. Okay, it can be 1 millisecond also, depending upon the books that you read. Okay, now in a typical internet, from the source to the destination, it goes through so many routers, all those things, so many routers, and finally reach the destination. So you have to find out whether I am using a link state routing table or a distant vector routing table. I am not bothered. I am bothered about the latency. Find out where are all the latency, and also your research topic should be how do I reduce the latency in each of the element that carries the signal from the source to the destination. And if I can do that beautifully, where is the problem? I say, you can have Wi-Fi, 6G, 7G, 8G, you can go. Because of the simple reason, you don't know G at all. Okay, that is actually the problem. So, your routing or you're moving the data from source to destination goes through lot of elements, and each element is going to cause a delay, and that delay should be reduced to improve the latency, and that is what is a research topic 2. Okay, there are many things which see, research topic is not something Jayaraman only can say. If you really study that topic, that subject well, you will have more than 100 research topics yourself. Okay, I am only telling you what I have thought. I have given it to my people in particularly when they do MTech thesis. I give average of about 20 topics in a year. Because of the simple reason, there are about, I take only very few people because I charge them, and I interview about 150 people through this communication network only, and then try to take about 15 or 20 people and give them a very, very current topic, but fundamentals, all fundamentals. And if they don't like it, let them not like it, let them not come to me. I am not really aggrieved that they have gone, but I will not take it if they are not in good shape. Okay, and that is actually the second. Third one, now you will go to this particular thing. See, the major problem in embedded system is there are colleges. Actually, I used to visit those colleges. They want to set up an embedded system laboratory. Embedded system is not microcontroller laboratory. First thing. Okay, so embedded system he starts, actually, what is the difference between microcontroller and embedded system laboratory? Microcontroller starts with a microcontroller and its set of instructions and addressing modes, etc. Embedded system doesn't start there. Embedded system starts with an application and an objective and then try to reach what type of microcontroller to be used. Okay, that's all. Afterwards, the microcontroller laboratory. That means what? Embedded system starts with an application, ends with the microcontroller. Microcontroller lab starts with the microcontroller, ends with the solution. This is actually how I distinguish. Okay, and this is what is the practice. Okay, now what is the problem which you are going to face is actually an embedded system. What type of microprocessor? Okay, so I told there are many colleges which are dumping the 8085 and throwing it out. Dumping actually because they want to take 8086 or they want to go to 8051 or ARM, etc. They are dumping all the things. I said, don't do that. You keep all those things, keep the manual also, and ensure that you conduct a microprocessor or the CPU architecture lab with that. Okay, you teach the architecture in theory, ask them to implement a particular program in more than one microcontroller version, and try to make them understand what is the architecture that made the difference. Now I told you that I told you that the microprocessor, we are mainly concerned with the what we call actually the power consumption and speed. Of course, nowadays even the size has become a big issue. Okay, big issue, and all these three issues are really contradictory and conflicting requirements there. And if you are going to do a balance of these, you are an excellent VLSI designer. I say you are an excellent VLSI designer. But before that, you should know what is the power consumption. How many of your labs of the microprocessor labs are measuring the time taken, or what we call actually power consumption and the time taken for execution of a program? What are all the elements of a microprocessor which are used in that particular execution of that particular program? You are doing the same lab in 8085, in 8086, in ARM, in FPGA also. It's a very sad thing. You have to have horses for the races. You have to have different programs. It's the same program, not in one college. In every college, it's the same program. It is foolish. It is foolish. That's not the way. FPGA is not produced for the same purpose as 8085. FPGA is produced for something. Okay, parallel algorithm execution. So what are you showing in parallel algorithm execution in FPGA? In your lab, what are you doing? Same ascending order, descending order, highest number, lowest number, controlling a motor, a DC motor, controlling a stepper motor. No, that will not give. And that will not give you the research topic for you for your research. Okay, so what is the basic thing? How do you choose your microprocessor for an application? There is a book called, I think it is Embedded System, this one, etc. And they have a particular chapter, choice of microprocessor for an application. He has used 2-3 processors and finally arrived at that particular thing. It is written by Frank Wahid and group, and Frank Wahid is supposed to be one of the best person I have seen writing a book. Okay, writing a book on embedded system lab. Okay, and I always follow that. Okay, these are all this is second thing. How to choose a processor for that. Then the last thing is actually what is the software engineering process for and development of embedded system. What is the cost? How do you cost the embedded system development? Okay, because of the simple reason, if you really go to software engineering process, there is one actually pricing models is there. There's one chapter, Pressman book I'm talking, the one chapter pricing model. You will talk about COCOMO. Okay, similar to COCOMO. Cost, I don't know, I forgot the name of the expansion of the COCOMO because I have practiced long back. So COCOMO model is there, and that is a similar thing. It should be developed for embedded system. This has been my dream, but some other. See, you can have an embedded system for all these applications. So I should have a embedded system software engineering or the engineering development program for this particular thing, and I should be able to have a cost model. See, the cost model is one thing, because before the product is made, I have to give a cost estimate, and that has to be approved. Then only I will get an order, and based on that order only I can go and execute, isn't it? So if that is going to be the situation, how do I really estimate the cost? It should be nowadays. What I do is actually I don't know about the cost construction model for the embedded system, so I use a thumb rule. What is the approximate hardware material? Multiply 5, multiply by 10, multiply by 20, because that is the risk coverage. Okay, so that is actually the way in which it is done. So that is actually the one. So on this slide, if you really look at it, there are 5 research topics which are highlighted. Now, if you go to this particular area, see, today all these areas have relevance in the marketplace. Please understand all these areas. Okay, today people may be talking about COVID, people may be talking about COVID-19, Covaxin, all those things are there. Look at the healthcare. Look at the number of instruments that are being produced. Everything is embedded system, I say. Everything is embedded system. And you have lots of things to be done here. Okay. With that, I close this particular. There are about 6 research topics which are current, which are relevant, and which are which should be make the system developed affordable, and which will be authentic, because your paper will be referred there. Okay. And if anybody wants any introduction to that, they can always reach me. I will provide, because I have done lot of MTech projects using that. I have done more than 100 projects on this slide alone. 100 MTech projects. I'm not talking MTech thesis if you want to write it on the same single slide. Okay, and that is actually the focus. And I know only very little, so 100 only I could get. If a person is very intelligent, much better than me, then they can do about 1,000 projects in this. Okay. Now look at this. Now I go to the parts that makes the whole. Okay. Embedded system I told. Now this is what is the embedded system. You don't have to go and say that actually, sir, I don't know what are all makes the embedded system. This is what it is. And everything is a research topic. Everything is a research topic. See, look at it. I had actually guided one lady teacher from, I think, Karakudi, Allahabad Chettiar College of Engineering and Technology, only on flash converter. Only on flash converter. How many of you can really say how many types of A to D converters and DTU converters? Okay. And then go back and say, what are all the specifications by which this A to D converter, DTU converter are classified? Now you go there actually in the A to D converter, effective number of bits. That is, you take 14 bits A to D converter. Please note that it will not be giving you 14-bit resolution. No, it can give only 12 bits. It can give you 10 bits. It all depends upon how you are configuring. So you should know effective number of bits of a typical A to D converter. So you take an A to D converter, DTA converter as one of the topics and keep on searching and researching. Newer and newer A to D converter. Go and look at Maxim. Go and look at analog to digital converter, analog devices. Go to TI, go to NXP. I'm talking websites, and then look at the A to D converters they have. That means what? When you take a topic for research, please understand, you should have no diversions. You should have, see, yesterday there were 2 cricket matches of IPL, okay? And excellent matches. Both were excellent matches. See, I have to prepare these slides because I prepare, I am not an a la carte person. I am a cooked food for the individual based on their appetite. Okay, I do that actually. Okay, and I make the thing. So if I am seeing the Nagarjuna, I'll prepare the slides according to what they will like. Okay, my own imagination, extrapolation of various things. Okay, so A to D converter, DTA converter itself there. Now you look at this. There is another area which is sensors and actuators. I have given this particular thing for MTech sensor system in VIT. I have given 10 projects for them. VIT sensors, MTech sensors. Okay, and that is another thing. Then actually, what is the basic thing? FPGA, of course, I don't give any project because I am not a very comfortable fellow. This is actually the one. There is a diagnostic port. There is a JTAG. There is a what we call built-in test equipment, BITE as we call. So a CPU must be tested, not once. Continuously when it is operating, it should be kept really tested. That means what? You should continuously work. Just imagine you are in an aircraft. It has got an embedded system which doesn't have a diagnostic port there, and it doesn't have a built-in test equipment inside. And you are there, and some functions is not working. If the flight fellow is not in a position to rectify that, what will be the fate of yours? So as a designer, as a researcher, we should look at that. So diagnostic port in every CPU is a thing. There is a group of people working in Texas Instruments only on BITE, JTAG. I say they don't do anything. JTAG, Joint Test Action Group. That's all they are doing. Nothing else they are doing. It's occupying the CPU, 10% of the CPU real estate. But what is their job is actually to reduce that real estate and improve the JTAG capability. That is what they are doing. Why not you think about it? Give a diagnostic port, and you are a faculty. You have some 2-3 MTech students. Positively, some people are really intelligent, want to do something good. So give it to them. Ask them to build and keep on analyzing it. Please understand, a research is not a theory book. There nothing is printed. You have to extrapolate and try to find out. And every solution is available in IEEE journals. Please understand, people have done. And lots of conferences will give lot of insight. And if you're going to sit in one corner and then say everything is going to be happening actually, no. 9:30, if the class is at 9:30 you should have no other responsibility other than coming to the class, I say. There is a question of you faculty coming at 9:45, 10. Not acceptable, particularly for a person like this. I am there at 9:15. Not because I don't want you to wait. There is a question. You have opted to come. You have not been forced. You are working at the comfort of your house. Why not you do it? I have a fever. Please understand. I am on Dolo 650 for the last 2 days. So that's not a thing. So the research is actually a dedication. Research is not actually casual. Okay, I want to do research. Not because I am interested in research. See, I don't want to do research. I never wanted to do research. Only because of the PhD and the extra money I was supposed to get, I wanted to do it. That also I dropped on the way. Okay, that's all it is. If somebody doesn't want to do research, let them continue with the teaching of the undergraduate. Research is not for everybody. PhD is for everybody. Like MTech degree, you can give a PhD. No, research is different from PhD. Research for PhD is different from research for research. Okay, we are interested in the improvement of the quality of life. Okay, now look at it. This is the mechatronics. Now I have actually actuators. I have sensors. Sensors is a very sluggish device. You take a thermocouple, even if you take a sample every 1 minute, nothing will change because thermocouple is a sluggish device. Actuators, you take a simple motor or contactor, it will take about 200 milliseconds to switch from normally closed to normally open. 200 milliseconds. Of course, there are relays in telecommunication which will close in 5 milliseconds. Okay, so you talk about the CPU, you talk about the actuators, you talk about the sensors, and try to bring a coherence in terms of timing between them. Great topic, So there is point in increasing the speed of the CPU when your sensor is sluggish, when your actuators is sluggish. Okay, so what is the problem in increasing the speed of the processor? You consume more power. So you understand that everything what you do has got a negative effort, and unless otherwise you have to have a coherence between them, and that is what is expected of an engineer. Okay, an engineer is not supposed to just read something and go about it. No. Go to the depth. See, the clock oscillator and clock distribution. If you talk about the FPGA, if you really look at the circumferences, you will see clock in every place. They are talking about a skew should be avoided because clock in that place should be, that is in the first one, in the first here, and the clock here, and the clock here, and the clock here should be absolutely synchronized, I say. Absolutely. There should be no variation between the rising edge and the falling edge. If it is there, then you will have really a problem. Okay. So that is the clock oscillator clock distribution in your IC is one of the important things. And we have not talked that at all in our country, in our this one. And battery and power management, I think this is being done by the electrical engineering people, and they can do it. And you have security and security relation function. Today in IoT, people are talking IoT. Actually, as I told you in yesterday's this one, IoT major topic is security and security related functions. That's all, nothing else. 80% of the research topic is in security. That means if you are mathematically strong, if you can come out with a good algorithm, and that you can port it in a very, very small, what we call footprint, and if we can install it on a CPU, you have got an excellent opportunity for a research. Okay, and that is what is the basic thing which we are expecting to do. So in this particular slide, you have A to D DTA converter one, the coherence between a CPU, actuators, and sensors is another one. This third one is actually the FPGA and the clock oscillator clock distribution. Go and see an FPGA manual and look at the clock distribution all over the periphery. Okay, because of the simple reason they don't want to take a clock from some other surface for a circuit, because of the simple reason there will be a skew, there will be a jitter, and skew and jitter is one of the major problem in electronic circuit. Just imagine your NAND gate has to see what is that called? Rising edge to be in the rising edge. The edge triggered system will have an edge. If the edge is slightly away, you are going to have a wrong result or no result. So clock oscillator clock distribution is a very important thing. So you think about it. Okay. Now what is the next thing? See, when you started the building, probably building a solution, internet was slow, networking. You never had so many networking capability. Processing speed was slow. Storage space was very, very constrained. Sensors are not that intelligent. Today we have intelligent sensors. Measurement system is not very good, and control is very, very poor because we had no capability to do increased number of loop in a short time. Actually, PID controller I'm talking about, and that is actually the one. Software has not matured at those days. So if you really look at it, all these things are going in this way. Okay, all these things are going. So your product today must meet tomorrow's requirement, or must leverage on the growing technology and try to make it faster. Suppose I have a network today and I build one system. When I change the network or when I evolve in the network, actually my system should work at a much better speed. I should not change anything in my thing. Because of that particular thing, it should work fine. Okay, that's actually, this is vectors of commercial technology. This is a must actually. I want to talk about this because this is in this one. So this is in the topic listed. So I thought I will bring it up faster. Now I have made it, industrial Internet of Things is one of the things. So I made it as intelligent because now we have two type of things. One is actually intelligent. Another one is a semi or no intelligence. These are all things. What is the thing? Things in an object which you want to make it automatic. Okay, that's actually. So now topic, search topic. Okay, just topic. There are so many names. You Google, you have Wikipedia, silent intelligence, Internet of everything, Internet of things, wireless sensor network, mobile computing, pervasive computing, ubiquitous computing, Internet of everything, cyber physical system, industrial of IoT, ubiquity of Internet, physical web, web 3.0, web of things. All these things, according to me, reaches to the same thing, okay, focuses or converges to the same technology. Now, you go and find out and try to bring out this. You have to really understand what is the inner meaning. Then come out with actually this particular technology or this particular architecture will suit all. Or all these things are independent and we are unnecessarily wasting our time in collecting or saying that all are same. Not acceptable. Okay. So that is what I want you to look at it. If you don't do that, actually, you will not be able to understand the Internet of Things. Because today somebody will say wireless sensor network and then sell you one system. And he will say the same thing on the Internet of Things. No, 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 no. So today, actually, if you really look at it, it is pervasive computing only. Everything is pervasive computing. Yeah, Internet of Things, if I put it in my house, it pervades into my privacy. It pervades into my privacy. And that is what it is. So you have to think that actually I should be in a position to be ubiquitous, everywhere present. And at the same time, I should be intelligent enough to take care of the location and also take an action depending upon the location. That's actually how it is done. This is actually one research topic which I gave to one of the students, probably never turned back. So if you are interested, this is one of the topics which is, according to me, there are so many names. Unfortunately, everything is the same. You go to Indian Institute of Science, they will talk about cyber physical system. It is one of the best things that has done. They have done it very beautifully, and it is one of the very good things to be seen. Okay, cyber physical system. It's very close to Indian. It is in Indian Institute of Science, and I think it is in the cyber physical system lab itself is a separate lab. Okay, so if you really look at it, you will not see much difference between Internet of Things and cyber physical system. But there is an engineering. There is a knowledge base which looks little different, and that is what you should try to look at it. Okay, this is IIoT. Okay, IIoT. So I have talked about this technology. This is sensing. Sensing, many people will say that Jayaraman, we are all electronics and communication. Sensing is not part. Please understand, there is no electronics and communication. There is no electrical and electronics. There is no instrumentation. There is no mechanical. There is nothing. Everybody is an engineer or a technologist. Very simple. Okay. Because I worked in Indian Space Research Organization, and every problem I faced is mechanical or combustion or internet. What is it called? This IC engines, or actually guidance and control, aircraft maneuvering, and nozzle timing. All those things. These are all something which I never heard in my life. So when you go inside a new establishment, you will have to work with many things that are not electronics and communication. Please understand. And the electronics and communication people, particularly the students, have got a feeling that they are the superior class. No, no, no. They are the most inferior class, according to me. Because electronics and communication cannot sustain themselves. They need chemical engineer, they need mechanical engineer, they need thermal electrical engineer, they need actually electrical engineer, thermoelectric engineer, electrical engineer, and they need actually the solid physics people with them. Otherwise, they can do nothing. They are one of the worst people. They need software, and they have to go to computer science fellow. And that is why I am saying electronics and communication should not live in that altar. Okay, just the only thing good about the electronics and communication engineer, their +2 marks are good. They stand very high in the VTU or the Anna University ranking, and they choose electronics and communication. That means students are intelligent. That's all. Students are capable. That's all. The people go to the electronics and communication for recruitment not because they are very good engineers. They will be able to grasp the subject better, so they can be given to the multidiscipline or interdiscipline jobs. That's all it is. So the electronics engineers must get out of that. You have to be humble. What Dhoni says is in cricket is true for electronics engineers of our time. You have to be humble. You have to take every. We used to in our this one and all, we college days and all, we used to make fun of mechanical engineers, and they used to make fun of us. You are all picofarad fellows here, like that they will say, and we say that you are all tons people but useless here. Okay, you have tons of memory but nothing is inside. I have picofarad of capacitance and fully charged. Okay, like that we used to fight. That's a purely at the college level, we have a lot of such things. And BITS Pilani is one of the best camaraderie with us. Okay, when we have a beautiful life. Okay, we had a beautiful life. That's a different issue. Okay, so now sensing, you look at sensing. Today, for properly designing a sensor, you need excellent knowledge of physics. You go to the instrumentation department of Indian Institute of Science, it is headed by a physics person. Without physics, you cannot do any sensor. Okay, without physics. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is actually what is the design criteria for a braking system. Conduction, convection, radiation are the three parts. That is physics. Okay, heat comes under heat. That is used for your heat sink design. You go to the LED lab, optics, unless otherwise you know what is the difference between a convex, concave ray, how to actually bring the electricity, bring the light to a focal point so that it will be able to heat some substance. You cannot. That means what? The optics you have to go. That means what? Unless otherwise you are good in physics, don't even touch that sensing element. Okay, you should be good in semiconductor physics. Nowadays, when you are talking about nano electromechanical sensors and MIMO, that is micro electromechanical sensors, please understand your semiconductor physics. I used to study semiconductor physics from a book called J.B. Rajam. It is called Atomic Physics those days. Okay, J.B. Rajam was the person who has written that. I have studied from that. Okay, of course, afterwards we studied a lot of books because books was the only source of this one. We never had Google and all. So books were the only thing we can study. Okay, and that is actually sensor. And you have to keep on looking at process variable, and you should know how to sense it. Sensing or transducting is only converting a physical variable into an electrical variable. That's all. Okay, ante. Okay, so there is no. Don't think that it's a great thing, but that element should. Today, you look at the element, the sensors. All over body there are sensors here. You will be really surprised. If you go to a cardiologist, I'll tell you, as soon as you go, he fits lot of sensors all over the body, collect all parameters, then decide whether you have this problem or that problem. Actually, it's a great thing. Sensing is one of the best things. And embedded processing. This is where probably majority of the people are doing it. And today, actually, there's no point in yourself trying to understand the nitty-gritty of a processor, board making, but you should know the processor capability. Well, actually, there are many people who come to me, they have made a lot of things as Raspberry Pi or Arduino boards. I have nothing against it. Please understand, I have nothing against it. As long as they have made it, it's okay. But I usually ask them, Arduino board, tell me the specification of the Arduino board. He tells me something here and there. Then I tell you what is the processor used. Okay. Then I ask him whether it is a 8-bit or 16-bit or 24-bit or 32-bit. He doesn't know. Is it a RISC processor or a CISC processor? He doesn't know. Is it actually pipelining? How many level of pipelining is introduced? He doesn't know. See, what we are looking for is not solution, is understanding the principle. So that as soon as I give him some other thing, he will be able to migrate to that, but evolve to that particular thing without much of difficulty or inconvenience. We are looking at that. Or whenever I say we are industrialists. Okay, we want good people. And my embedded processing is full of such things. Nobody need to make any single board computer because of the simple reason. You cannot make it as cheap and as small as you require as a Taiwanese guy can make. So concentrate on the technology underlying that particular board, technology that you are exploiting to build a solution is what you should undergo. Okay, and connectivity. How wireless communication is growing. Look at it. You have NFC, 6LoWPAN, and you have sub-gigabit Ethernet, you have Zigbee, you have GPS, you have Bluetooth low energy, and you have Wi-Fi, and you have RFID, and you have cellular communication. Okay, look at it. I have a cellular communication, which is basically considered as circuit switching technique. Okay, circuit switching technique. You have an internet which is TCP/IP, which is considered as store and forward packet switching datagram method. Okay, datagram method. Okay. Now, what is a 4G? What is a 3G? You have to understand between these two technologies. That is, I am bringing a store and forward packet switching datagram technique to a circuit switched basic network, and thus I increase the speed, I reduce the latency. This is how it should be taught. We teach 3G, 4G a separate thing, and we teach TCP/IP a separate thing. No, it's all merged. I say it's all convergence, which is all going on. That is a technology for an embedded Internet of Intelligent thing. This is the first thing. This is the root. On this root, I build intelligence by writing the software. This software, you can write it in Python, you can write it in C, you can write it in assembly. I leave it to you. Okay, and you have to think about these applications. Now, as I told you, an embedded system doesn't start with a microprocessor. It starts with an application. You take the application, then go what are all the software to be done and how fast you want that to be done. Then you go and choose the embedded processor that you are going to use. If you are going to do the other way, that means you are making a head according to the cap size. That's not acceptable. So, really speaking, actually, you look around, you have hundreds of topics for research. And I need not tell you because I'm not a doctorate, as you say. Okay. And I will not propagate. Actually, there is one very senior person, please understand, very senior person, who said, Jaraman, you should be seeing my number of papers I have published. 482 papers he has published, all in international journals. He's a mechanical engineer. Mainly, he was looking at actually what we call actually tribology. Okay, tribology. Okay, and he is very well known to me and very nice person. Okay, so I kept on reading. He gave me all the papers. I read it actually through. Sir, what are you trying to convey in all these papers? No, you don't understand. I say so easily. You should have mathematically a genius. No. I want to build one product according to the theory you present. No. This is not for product. This is for research. That means what? You are all thinking that the research is only for research, publishing papers, building your what we call your profile. No. I am looking at products. Look at the product. You will be able to get more and more research ideas. See, there is there are biomedical. You look at the sensors that are all around the patient body today and try to understand what they are ultimately related. Okay, try to look at that. There is an image processing and there is a compression technique which is used. Today there may be lossless compression, loss compression. There is the MPEG, there is the JPEG. Lot of standards are there. You try to find out what is the best one for a typical application. It can be a gynecology related, or it can be a orthopedic related. It can be anything actually. Today, actually, I go and see in a typical dispensary or a clinical system. It's full of graphics, full of image processing. And how many of our image? I have a friend in what is it called in Siddhartha Institute of Technology. They have an excellent group of people who are in digital processing, digital signal processing, and image processing. Not many products are there. So, what is our interest? Now, I'll come back to that. So, if I am going to talk about, I will take one aspect of it: smart homes. Okay, I'll take one aspect of it and then try to build. In smart homes, 80% is actually signal processing and image processing. Okay, it's what we call actually the various types of thing, the signal processing, image processing. Now, what is our interest? You are teaching image processing. Have you ever built an embedded system with image processing or vision system built inside? Look at the lab view. Look at the lab view. Look at the MyRio, and you can build an application as good as tomorrow morning, actually an embedded application. So our interest is not actually whether it is a security. Look at that actually, security. There is a security is there. And in that security, all this, the smart home has got a security. Security is image processing. What is the basic thing? You try to take his picture and whatever is the prominent face, and then that particular thing you compress it, transmit it through a cable to the owner, and the owner will look at that particular thing, and then he will say, okay, allow, and then it will get allowed. That means that is what it is. There is a single compression, there is an embedded development, there is a single compression, there is a transmission, and that transmission should go to the thing, signal expansion, and display on a web-bound monitoring system, and that display should make a decision. That's all it is. So if you really look at it today, everywhere there is an opportunity for a research. You don't have to go. You have to only look around you for such a thing. And there is a very small point. See, for instance, image compression and data communication. There is a relation. So how much of image compression? So if you really look at it, image processing algorithm is mainly meant to compress the number of bits to represent one size of the image. Okay, that's all. And what is the responsibility of the communication person? Communication person should be able to find out the modulation techniques in such a way that I can say maximum I can send that particular thing through the cable or the wire. Okay, that's all it is. So these two are always fighting against each other. This fellow keeps on increasing the bandwidth utilization efficiency, and that fellow will keep on reducing the number of bits to represent one size of the image. And these two are actually working against each other. That is why the research is going on. Look at the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, etc. What is that they are doing? I say they are reducing the latency in everywhere. And that latency, you try to find out where are all the latency created, or that actually you go. And I tell you, the world is so broad, so huge. You have actually, at the click of a button, you have all the information in front of you. If you cannot find research topics, it is really bad. And whether it is IIoT, whether it is networking. What is IIoT? As I told you, IIoT is sensing, embedded processing, and connectivity, and a lot of software here, and a lot of application here. That's all it is. There is nothing else. So if you are able to find out, everything is fundamental. Okay. And that is what I want you to think about. Now, I have been using the smart grid, smart, etc. Many people have been asking, sir, what do you call a smart cell? So I took some time actually to find out. So I thought I have taken a smart city. Today we are all talking about smart city. So I took smart city as an example and gone about it. Makes use of information technology to provide information on bus, rail networks using mobile and computer networks. So mobile network is different from computer networks. From this, what is 3G? What is 4G? It is mobile computer networks. Look at it. That's all it is. So first is information transmission. Okay. Second, reduces time spent by motorists looking for parking by combining sensors on parking lots and application for mobile. See, sensors, and you will be able to talk to the mobile and tell them there is a spot available in third floor in some right-hand corner, etc. Okay. When you go there, you will know that actually that you cannot park anything there. Okay. Uses a single card, ticket for buses, ferries, shops, and everything. This is what we are trying to do, but I don't know when it will happen, because one fellow will bring out something, another fellow will say this is not good. That's all it is. Our country is what we call democratic country. So everybody has got a thing. That means, there is one anecdote which I was saying. There was an Air Force officer. Okay, Air Force officer went to a clinic or what we call hospital, and before the hospital, the doctor or the paramedical person took the data readings, parameters, and then went to the doctor. Okay, he went to the doctor. Then immediately before the doctor started, sir, doctor, I think what is the basic thing is actually, this is the problem I am facing. What I will do is actually, I will take 2 medicine of this type and then try to make it actually. And every day morning, I will take 1 medicine this, 1 medicine that. And this is an Air Force officer talking. Okay, 1 medicine that. And after 3 days, what I will do is actually, I will change the whole thing in reverse and try to take it. Actually, and then this like that. He kept on talking about what is the prescription for that particular parameters. Then the doctor asks, are you a doctor or are you Air Force? See, it hurts you, no? When I am doing in my Air Force, you are talking about how I should plan my platoon to fight Pakistan or Chinese or any other aggressor. So that is how it is. From the WhatsApp or anything like that, don't try to give us some solution. If I want to understand, come to my friend and talk to us. We will tell you what are the problems. If you have a solution, give it there. Don't keep on talking on the corner of a road. Okay? And that time, that is what the doctor learned. WhatsApp can give many things, but a doctor, when you go, you better listen to him, whatever he says, because he has studied the subject. Similarly, that is why I don't talk anything about the software development process. I always talk about engineering process because I know a little bit about this. I don't know anything about the software development. Or you talk about the pointers, you talk about the functions. I have no idea about it. I have never learned it also properly. Okay, that is what is the basic thing. One ticket for all the things. This is being introduced, and anything the present government buys brings, actually another fellow will say this cannot work. This cannot work. Why not you import? So he starts importing. Why are you wasting foreign exchange? Why not you get it developed through so many universities you have developed? So he starts doing it. Why are you funding these universities? Why not you fund these universities? At the end of the day, nothing will see the light of the day. In spite of that, we have coaxing. That's all it is. Using RFID tags, sensors in cars and buildings, etc. Connectivity, internet connectivity, smart city generates information that helps government to plan. Suppose you want to build a new multi-story building. If these information is available in a particular system in front of you, you can do so many things. And it improves transport, thus release congestion, and uses intelligence centers. See, I have told you about the smart city. Now, you take actually in 2007, I think IEEE Spectrum magazine, they will talk about how to make a mega city into a smart city or something like that. You will talk about 20 problems. And all those 20 problems are worth doing research in India, particularly with Hyderabad, Bangalore, or Chennai, or Coimbatore, or Hubli, Dharwad, or even actually Ahmedabad, etc. So there are available in front of you. IEEE magazines, if you keep on looking at, don't see, many people have told me, sir, it's very difficult to understand. Don't try to understand IEEE magazines. Right? Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir. 10 minutes for the session, sir.
Yeah, I know that. Actually, I'm keeping time. I will close it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thanks.
So if you have that particular thing, IEEE magazine, if you really understand the topic, title of the every paper you are reading, you have achieved the research. You are a PhD. Oh, this is actually my proposed thing, and I have done it in one place, not all, about 10 actually. I have done it. This is purely for academic projects. I have done it, and that is students were willing to work on. And IIoT is actually, I have talked about this. IIoT has got 4 problems. One is actually, what are you building? Another one is key challenges in each of the things. Whether you are building a chip, whether you are building a module, whether you are doing a system or doing a system, you have this problem. Okay, this is actually going to provide you selecting the right wireless module for an IIoT. A mall IIoT is different from house IIoT. So try to find out what is the right module and what are all the various type of underlying principles that you have to see. And what is the next one? Designing and debugging complex mixed signal devices, and that is another thing. Okay, and it's very difficult. It is like actually 2 states working together. It's very difficult actually in our country, and this is what will happen. Okay, maximizing battery life. This is one of the much talked about subject for the research. EMI EMC certification is a separate thing. It's highly interesting for people who are in RF and communication. Speeding through wireless standards. Wireless standards are very difficult to get it, Zigbee, Bluetooth, etc. Similar to that, you can also create your own standard. Combating the interference of things. That is actually the one. And with that, actually, I come to the end of this particular thing. And my talk today. And if you have any specific questions, you can ask me. If you don't have any, as usual, I'll keep quiet. That's all it is. Let me know if there is a question. And in this, before that, actually, I thank Dr. Rohit, who have been very, very closely associated with me for making this presentation to you all. And I thank the Nagarjuna College of Engineering and Technology and the management, particularly the principal of the HOD and the management of the thing actually, for providing me an opportunity for both the days to present what I think is right for future, for the faculty, for the student, and for the society. That's actually the one. With that, I close. Thank you so much once again. Thank you so much for the listeners who are there who are there after this 1 hour and 30 minutes exactly. And if there is any specific question from any of them, please talk to me. I am too happy to answer your question now or ever afterwards. Okay. Thank you so much. Good day. Yeah. I'm through, gentlemen.
Yes, participants, do you have any?
Shashi, any question?
You can ask, sir. Sir,
Shashi,
no, sir.
ask a question.
Hello, sir.
Shashi, why don't you ask one question?
Sir, no, sir. Shashi is gone out for a session, actually, in another class session. So
Shashi
I'm Ari, sir.
I am talking about Shashi Kiran. Okay, he has gone for a thing. No problem. Don't bother. Any questions? No question. Thank you so much. You have freed me for the day. Enjoy your life. Enjoy everything that you are doing. Have a good day. All the best. My mail ID is with everybody there, and you can send me a mail and talk about it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session, sir. And I request all the participants to join for the third session, which will be starting at 11:30. And we may now end the session too. Thank you.